Okay. Today we shall go into the speaking text. But first and foremost, I gave us an assignment. I gave us some assignments yesterday to take just 20 minutes out of the time and paraphrase 5 questions. It was sent to us, right?
You said Friday.
Okay, is it Friday?
You gave us Friday.
You're banking.
I just gotten mine this morning.
Okay.
I want to paraphrase all.
The 5 and below 1.
Okay.
Alright, so let's begin. Today we are looking at the speaking test. The speaking test is the aspect of the IELTS test that actually assesses and evaluates your ability to converse, your ability to communicate effectively, your ability to show your advanced and in-depth knowledge of the English. In speaking tests, examiners are aware that we are not native English speakers. They are aware. But they need to confirm that you can communicate. They need to be sure that when you get to the environment where English is the lingua franca, is the only medium of communication, that you'll be able to actually express yourself with anyone who is a native English speaker. So for that, examiners are looking to see your ability to speak and manage your mother tongue interferences. For instance, Nigeria as a country is a cosmopolitan environment, right? We are multi-ethnic in nature. In fact, a particular state may have more than 40 different languages. I hear that Kaduna, the number of languages there is so much that the cross river to right. If you go to the east, you realize that Ebonyi State, their Igbo sounds like Baggy. They call them the Chinese Igbo. You go to the Yorubas, you realize that when a Yoruba person is speaking, you'll be able to actually hear or understand what he is saying. So all of these accumulated to the fact that they need to now know if you can express yourself and sound English. So, what are the things they're looking for when you're speaking? Some of the things examiners are looking for during your speaking test include: 1, examiners want to see your confidence. Your confidence. 2, examiners want to see your fluency. Your fluency. 3, examiners want to see your pronunciation skills. I actually said pronunciation, not pronunciation. There's a difference between pronunciation and pronunciation. Pronunciation does not have O after the first N. Pro and non-nunciation. Pro and noun and pro and non.
What is the difference?
You have pronounce. This is a verb. Pronounce the word. Then pronunciation.
You know, I usually write down with an O.
Pronunciation. That's the right spelling.
The second one.
Yes.
Ha.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So examiners are looking to see your pronunciation skill, and they also want to see your enunciation skill. Enunciation. Just like pronunciation. Enunciation. Then possibly examiners are also looking to see your modulation skills. Modulation. That's modulation. Modulation.
Hi.
Sorry, what's the meaning of enunciation?
The approach of bringing your writing
Enunciation.
enunciation, to enunciate how you apply your stress
Guys, when you read and stuff,
when you are
there's a comma.
speaking. No.
Sir, please, can you just write it? Sorry.
Enunciation.
Sorry.
Remove pro and put e.
Okay, yeah.
When you are speaking, your ability to apply stress at the right position. Did you learn stress in secondary school? Stress pattern. Remember this simple word, right?
Present.
Present. Present. The stress is here. Present.
Yeah.
Then if it is to give someone something, the stress is not here, but it is here. Present. Do you understand the difference? When you want to say this to someone, where do we apply the stress? Yes, the stress.
C.
Hmm?
C.
That's come.
Oh.
Congratulations. That's what it means. Congratulations.
Simulation.
Oh, simulation is where is the stress? When you have words that end with I-O-N, T-I-O-N, the stress is usually at the point before the T-I-O-N. Congratulations. Congratulations.
So, are you sure they taught us this in secondary school?
Congratulations. They taught
We
people
didn't listen.
who were taught, but we didn't take it seriously.
I never had English teacher for 3 years.
This one is you. Okay, so in your speaking test, examiners are looking to see your enunciations. They want to see how you are able to apply the stress at the right positions, if you can. In your speaking test or during your speaking test, examiners really appreciate your contraction skills. Contractions.
So you didn't explain the meaning of the modulation.
Modulation, rising and falling of your voice when you're speaking. How can you tell someone this?
Come here.
Hmm?
Come here.
You use the natural way to say it. When you want to call your baby.
No, I say come here.
Come here, right? Come here. That's default for us. We are non-native speakers. How would the native speaker say come here? Have you ever heard anyone say come here? Could you please come here? Could you come here, please?
I know this.
So you see the modulation. Come here, or come here, please, or come here. Modulation. When you are famished, what do you say? If you want to request for food, when you are famished, what do you say? When you want to request for food.
Because I want to eat.
Okay.
Or because I don't have, or to call the particular food.
No. When you want to express that you are famished,
Yes.
how do you say it?
I'm so hungry.
Yes. I'm so hungry. Something's very hungry. Now, when you are in an environment where you don't have access to your kitchen or your home, we are just creating an imaginary scenario right now, and you are opportune to express your hunger to someone who you expect to actually give you something to eat. How do you say that to the person? How do you express that you're hungry to the person? just imaginary.
Yeah. Do you have something for me?
Thank you. Please, I'm hungry, right? Because you will know that it is not your right, so you are appealing, right?
Yes.
Someone who is arrogant, how will the person say it?
Give me food.
Hmm?
Give me food.
Give me food. I'm hungry. Give me food. Now, the native speakers, while expressing this, you hear nice modulation. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. See the different modulations, not
Is that how they want us to speak?
that is voice modulation. If you can, it's not compulsory.
Because I feel they shouldn't be expecting that from us since we're not from the English speaking country.
Yes. That's why all of these expectations are for those who can.
Okay, can you form?
It's not forming. You're not forming anything. You are expressing something the way it should be, the way it's done
Okay.
by the native speakers. So when they see you speaking in that template, of course you are going to perform nicely by default. But if they listen to you and say that yes, you are being natural, which is as a result of your non-native English speaking status, right? They would say, okay, this person does not have all of these ingredients, but the person can communicate effectively. So they give you the mark for being able to communicate effectively. But someone who is able to communicate effectively and also apply all of those natural ingredients that native speakers express, your scores will never be the same. It's natural. So if you can, please express yourself, showing off all of this. Now let's come back to contraction skills. What are contractions? Who can tell us what contractions are? Contractions, have we heard of contractions?
No, sir.
Okay. You know, I can't hear the handheld mic. Contractions or contraction is the practice of using or blending two independent words together using apostrophe. It's a practice of blending two independent words together using apostrophe. Can we have an example? An example of contraction. Blending two independent words together using apostrophe. Jennifer, give me an example of a contracted expression. Give me an example of contraction. Ability to blend two independent words together using apostrophe. Can you give me an example? We can't remember. Or no idea. Madam, sir, an example? Contraction will be do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
This is contraction. If you speak English and you contract, you are considered to have in-depth understanding of English. Susan, come in. You are going to speak this morning, so come and hear what you must do. When you are speaking before the examiner, do more of this guy. Look at the board. Do more of I can't. I wasn't able to actually attend it because I couldn't. Not I cannot do it because I could not go there. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, sir.
So spoken English is different from the written. So when you're speaking, show off more of contractions. Show it off. Alright? So don't do the longer expressions because it shows that this one is a core non-native English speaker. Right? So when you're speaking, express contractions. So please, go with your confidence intact.
Yes.
Right? So when you get there, act like the boss. Sit. Hello, good morning. Say hello, good morning. How are you? Please appreciate. Oh, thank you. You sit. That's the spirit you should go with.
Okay.
Yes, so when you ask, hello, this is the IELTS exam held on the 7th of January 2024. My name is Ben Jr. What's your name, please? And you're like,
Jennifer.
calm down.
Don't say Mrs. Right?
Calm down. They'll rush you
I'm Jennifer.
because that's the way they've been trained. You might hear, hi, my name is Benedict. Hey, what's your name, please? And you're like, all right, thank you very much. My name is Jennifer Gabriel. Calm down.
Do you have to say thank you very much for?
Yes, you can. And how do you spell Susan? You're like, oh, Susan is spelled as S-U-S-A-N. All right, Susan, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Oh, sure. There you go. Given Julia.
What do you give them?
Your passport. Don't worry, you are going through that process now. You go through that process now. So be very.
Okay, sir. When they ask you, can I know your means of identification?
May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Okay, no, the other one, they say, can you spell Susan?
Yes.
I shouldn't start just spelling Susan. I should say, what do I say before?
Oh, yes.
All right, please. How do you spell Susan? Oh, Susan is spelled as. Then it's spelled.
Okay.
Remember, this is speaking test, so you must speak
Yeah.
at each point in time. So not when you're asked, what's your name? Susan Gabriel. What did I call you? Susan. Can you spell Susan? S-U-S-A-N.
Don't
Where
compare.
are you from? Imo State. You are not speaking. You are not speaking. They can't evaluate you. It's like you are saying something that is programmed to you.
Oh,
So there is no conversation.
okay.
Right? Okay, so let's begin. Susan, good luck. Check your time. If you need to start moving, go and bring the leg out.
Congrats, yeah.
Congrats, you will do well.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we have contractions. Please do well to express contractions when you're speaking. I remember when we were doing the writing, I told us that if you are privileged to receive an email from President Biden and you are invited for a coffee meeting, right? And then you want to acknowledge that email via telephone call and you call President Biden, expressing this is formal during your spoken English. But when you are responding via email, you cannot say I can't. You have to spell I cannot because it is formal. Do you understand? In written English, don't contract. But in spoken English, you should. The only platform where you can contract during your written test is if you're writing an informal letter. Do you understand the difference? Informal letter. You're writing someone you already know. So it's a regular chat. There's no need to be formal or whatsoever. You understand? But if it is semi-formal, if it is a formal letter, if it is an essay, if it is a report writing, please don't contract for any reason. It's going to drop your score.
So it's only contraction is only done when you are speaking.
During your spoken expression or during informal letters. Alright, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so during your speaking test, we have some things we consider to be speaking rules. Speaking rules. Okay, let's look at rule number 1. During your speaking test, rule number 1 is Never give a short answer to any question. Never give a short answer to any question, except what's your name. Except when responding to the question, what's your name. Never give a short answer to any question, except when responding to the question, what's your name. Rule number 2. Keep speaking until the examiner asks you another question. Keep speaking until the examiner asks you another question.
Can I ask a question? What if you are speaking and you say we should speak till you ask another question?
Keep speaking until the next question comes.
What if what you are talking about is out of hand?
Then that's the problem. You were asked a simple question, so you should speak on that question and not to debate. So you need to manage what you say so you don't back down anyhow. Alright, the next rule. Always speak audibly. Always speak audibly. So the examiner would hear and understand what you're saying, and also so your voice can be captured in the recording, because your conversations are going to be recorded. Next rule. Ensure to keep eye contact with the examiner while speaking. Ensure to keep eye contact with the examiner while speaking. So unlike our African nurturing or doctrine or belief or practice, where we have been taught not to look an older or elderly person in the eyes while speaking, right?
Yes.
We are told that it's quite disrespectful, right? But to the white, to the Westerners, it is even disrespectful not to look at them when you are talking to them. It's a show off. It's a proof that you are lying. It's a proof that you are neighbors. It's a proof that you lack confidence. It's a proof that you are not serious about what you're saying. So if you're making promises and you're looking elsewhere, the person disregards whatever you're saying. So please, this is not a Nigerian or African exam. So whenever you're talking to the examiner, ensure you are keeping eye contact. It is also important because you tend to read the facial expressions of the examiner to know if the person is enjoying what you're saying, or if the person has a stern look, which might be an indication that may be speaking OP. Alright, another rule: never form an accent. Never form an accent. So don't start what you cannot finish. You know, in Nigeria, you see someone who don't even have an international passport. The person is speaking and forming accent. Right? It's also very popular or peculiar to some families that are above average. Their children tend to speak in accents that you don't know where they're coming from.
No, but they are being taught in school.
It's not the teaching at school, because the teaching is just for 45 minutes.
But
Some people used to form
It's cartoon for children. For children, it is cartoon. And for a lot of adults, pure formula. Okay, next rule. Never rush to respond to a question you have not clearly understood. Never rush to respond to a question you have not clearly understood. This can only happen when you are tense. Never rush to respond to a question you have not clearly understood.
So if you don't have a mind, what
It's not ideal now. I'm not talking about ideal. It's about not understanding the question. So if a question is not clear to you, you may have to paraphrase the question to the examiner to confirm if that's what the examiner is asking.
okay, can you give us an example?
Could you please tell me about the trip you embarked on not too long ago? And you're like, do you mean a journey I actually had recently? Do you understand this?
Yes.
So if the examiner says, sure, yes, please, that means you have understood the question. So when a question is asked and you're not so clear if you actually got what the examiner is expecting, you need to paraphrase that question back to the examiner for confirmation. All right, the next question.
Sorry, sir, but if you say what is wrong, what happens?
If you say what,
If you respond and it's not correct, what happens?
the examiner will still wait for you to keep talking to see if you will say the correct answer.
If you pause, if you stop talking, you will just looking at me.
Okay, there are two things. If an examiner asks you a question and you start responding to that question and you are responding wrongly, the examiner may still give you a few more seconds to see if he will speak more and come back to track. But if you speak that wrong answer and you show that you have completed what you have in mind,
Yes.
the examiner will say, okay, thank you very much. It will be written against you.
Don't worry, it will not.
All right, next rule. Always correct yourself when you realize that you have. Always correct yourself when you realize a grammatical error before you continue. Always correct yourself when you realize there is a grammatical error in what you've said before you continue. So, when a question is asked and you're responding to the question, please, if you start responding to the question and it occurs to you that, oh boy, I've just bothered more, please correct yourself. So when you correct yourself, do not ask or request the examiner to give you such time. So when you are speaking and you feel, oh boy, this is still. So what you need to do is, all right. So I'm having a little mix up in my head. So actually, I'm meant to say. You then continue. Actually, I'm meant to say you continue. You now correct yourself and continue. I'm meant to say you correct yourself and continue what you say. Next rule. Feel free to make use of natural fillers, but do not overuse them. Feel free to make use of natural fillers, but do not overuse them. So what are natural fillers? Who knows? These are natural fillers, right? How do we express those fillers on the board? The first one.
I'm going to ask you a question.
How do we express the first one on the board?
Like when you are guessing.
No, how do we say that? How do you pronounce it? And then the second one? Correct. The first one is and the second one is right? Now, next question. Please, when do we use those natural fillers? When do we use them?
When there's break in transmission.
When there is a break in transmission. Electronic transmission.
No, sir.
When
Where you cannot.
When they,
Yes.
when
When
they
you are
ask
not
you
flowing.
questions, or when they ask you question, you are trying to.
When an examiner, not the.
Okay, when the examiner asks you question, you are trying to, bring out words.
Okay. All correct. We use the natural fillers when we are trying to remember the right words to use to express ourselves, right? Or when we are trying to remember the right information to pass across. That's when we use the natural fillers. But please do not overuse them. Don't overuse them because your speaking test examiner is looking to see your fluency. So you are supposed to speak fluently. But if you begin to bring in the natural fillers, it's going to slow down your fluency. So please use them only when necessary. Next rule, always articulate your response before you begin to speak. Always articulate your response before you begin to speak. Always articulate your response or responses before you begin to speak. Of articulating what you want to say, it depends on what you have in mind to say. So if you are asked, please tell me, where are you from? If an examiner asks you, where are you from? You should be able to articulate how to respond where you come from, beginning from what should start first and what should come in next, what should follow and how it should end. That's you articulating your responses. Do you understand?
So how are you supposed to say?
We shall go get to that later. Okay. Next rule. Feel free to make use of voice modulation while speaking, if you can. Feel free to make use of voice modulation while speaking, if you can. I told us earlier this morning what voice modulations simply mean, right? Ability to rise and fall the voice or intonations while speaking. So if you can, please feel free and make use of it, if you can.
Ability to
Rise, ability to show off rising and falling of your voice or intonation. Ability to show off rising and falling of your voice, tone or intonation, if you can. Next rule, make use of advanced words and also cite examples to buttress your point while speaking. Make use of advanced words and also cite examples to buttress your point while speaking. Okay, next rule. The use of non-verbal communications. The use of non-verbal communications are allowed, but do not abuse them. The use of non-verbal communications are allowed, but do not abuse them. The use of non-verbal communications are allowed, but do not abuse them. The use of non-verbal communications are allowed, but do not abuse them. Do we know examples of non-verbal communications? I'm expressive, but I'm not talking.
Okay, finger.
You're not talking, finger?
So it's actually allowed.
Okay.
Yes, but do not abuse them. For instance, if you are asked to talk about your dream car and you're like, okay, you have passed the message, right? That means you have something in your mind that you're dreaming about beforehand. So now you want to know what about. That's non-verbal communication, right? Now, if you are also talking and you're like, when I got there, it was quite unexpected, but what do? I just have to accept it. This is non-verbal, right? So, non-verbal communications are facial gestures, body languages, and expressions that's used to pass messages across without saying a thing. But do not abuse them because you are supposed to be speaking.
That's the problem, because those things, they just happen.
Good. So, as long as they don't stop you from speaking, that's why I say it is allowed. It is allowed. There are people that cannot speak without touching or moving their hands. And this is why IELTS setting for speaking tests separates the examiner from the test taker. So you're going to have a little space. Because some people, if they don't touch you, they feel you're not getting what they're saying.
So you can touch the examiner.
That's why there is now
Okay.
gap between you and the examiner. Some people, if they don't move their hands, there are people that cannot, that if you keep them this way, they won't be able to express themselves. They must move their hands.
Yeah, exactly. You have to.
You have to.
So some of us are do hard starting.
Naturally. It's not natural. Some of us who have developed it have made it a part of us.
No,
How
I
do you
didn't
just sit
believe
down
it was
and
those days. And when I forgot from boy,
I'm going to chase it. I
I
mean.
chase it.
Right?
I want to speak now.
Alright, so it's naturally peculiar to people who stutter, people who stammer.
That's the hard starting.
So, but if you don't stutter, if you don't stammer, it is easier for you to express yourself. You don't need to actually shake, move your hands. Alright, so good morning. Nice to meet you. So my name is Benedict. I will be discussing with you today about the economic importance of cocoa in the country, because it's a very important revenue, whatever. You don't need to. So today I'll be discussing with you about cocoa. You know. So if you can do this and still be fluent, it's okay. Then please manage your hands so that you don't mistakenly give the examiner.
Slapper.
Right? Right? Okay, so these are the rules you should hold on to during your speaking. So, importantly, confidence. Very important. Confidence. There is no question that you will be asked during your speaking test that you can't respond to. But if tension sets in, it's difficult. You will just be hearing the examiner saying something, but the brain is not processing what the question is. So you will end up saying something in the bala blue, and the examiner is raising some eyebrow, trying to catch where is this coming from, right? Because of tension. So please, you need to calm down and make sure that you really understand what the examiner has said, and you speak appropriately.
have the right to ask questions.
Exactly. You also have the right to repeat or request a rephrasal. That's another rule. Feel free to request a rephrasal or a repeat of a question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you. A question that's unclear to you. So how do you ask an examiner to repeat what he or she has said? If I say something I don't understand, how will you ask me for a repeat? Pardon? If I say something to you or I ask you a question and you don't understand, how will you ask for a repeat of that question?
Still pardon me, excuse me.
Excuse you. So please tell us, how can we request a rephrasal or repeat of what has been said?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I didn't get it right.
Okay, thank you. Now, in IELTS, whether you are a chief or high chief or honorable member or it doesn't matter. It doesn't count. If you are asked to say your name, say your name. Your name is not Dr. Chief. Your name is not Mr. Cook. Your name is not High Chief. Your name is your name. Say your name. Examiners are not given the title of sir and madam. That's why they will introduce themselves to you from the beginning.
So
Address them by their name.
if you didn't get the name,
You can ask, please, what can I call you? You hear, I'm Tebes. You can call me Tebes.
tell me.
Tebe. No, it's any whatever name they tell you. Do you understand? So now that I asked, how can you request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you? If you want to say sorry, what are you sorry about or sorry for? Don't give that name. You have not committed a crime. Do you understand? So this is Nigeria for you. Sorry, you want to ask me something? Sorry, please, excuse me. You are really sorry. Then please, then excuse me before you can ask. Right?
Hey.
Now, in the real way to express yourself, simply request the examiner to repeat whatever he or she has said that's unclear to you by simply saying, I beg your pardon. Right? But most times, I beg your pardon is usually by the person who has committed something you want to repeat what you have done or what you have said. But you, who is the listener, to request for a repeat or a rephrasal of what has been said, simply ask the person, could you please repeat what you've said? Right? Don't tell the examiner, call me again. Don't say, call me again. That's a wrong expression. So you simply tell the examiner, could you please rephrase this question in a simpler way? Or tell the examiner, kindly repeat what you said. I didn't get you clearly. Now let's go into the main show for the day.
Wow.
The speaking test lasts for 10 to 15 minutes.
Very short.
Very
Short.
short. 10 to 15 minutes.
It's not too much.
During your speaking test, it's going to be a one-on-one conversation between you and the examiner. The examiner may be a physical examiner. The examiner may be a virtually arranged examiner. So it depends. With whichever it is, please feel free and express yourself. On the day of your speaking test, please remember you must go with your international passport and maybe a pen or a pencil, and that's all you need. No wristwatch will be allowed in. No face cap will be allowed in. no necklace,
No earring.
no bracelets. Of course, earrings can be allowed. No bracelets, no bangles, whatever it is. Now, when you get into the exam hall, you may be lucky and find a very jovial examiner. You may also be quite lucky and meet someone who is very mean. But remember, you have the task, which is to go in, speak, impress, and get what you need and go away. So whether the person is mean, strict, or stern, please, it's none of your business. It shouldn't affect you. Just ensure that you are able to manage the atmosphere and express what you are supposed to express. That's all.
Is it going to be one or another?
It could be a blonde, it could be a Negro. Whichever it is, it doesn't really matter. Now, when you get into the exam hall, if it is a physical examiner, all you need to do is simply feel free and try to create what we call unofficial rapport. Unofficial rapport is the conversation you engage or you have with the examiner prior to when the exam begins officially. When there is an unofficial rapport, it makes you feel pretty much at ease with yourself. But if you go there and you sit one-sided, you are calculating, oh, this person tell me, you are thinking in your mind. You are inviting tension by doing that. So when you get in, please note that it is not a fashion test. It is a speaking test. So don't dress to kill. Just be very comfortable in whatever you wear. Nobody, there won't be an additional mark from your dressing.
I dare not wear heels.
It depends. If it makes
Tension.
you, if it make you feel comfortable,
Tension
then
make you not to.
you miss your step, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, examiner would welcome you, give you the preambles of the speaking session, and then the examiner will introduce him or herself to you first. So after that, examiner will ask you what's your name. So these are some of the likely questions that may be asked. Okay, so let's begin. For your part 1 session, which we call the introductory session, of course the speaking test is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the introductory session where you get to be asked questions bordering around yourself and your immediate environment. Then the second part is the main speaking test, which is conducted using a paper called cue card. Then the third one is the supporting or follow-up questions session. These are the 3 parts of the speaking test. So let's begin with the first part. At this point, after the examiner must have introduced himself to you, then the question will be posed at you. And the question would be, what's your name? When an examiner asks you what your name is, there are 3 to 4 possible ways you can respond to the question. Okay. First, what's your name? You can simply say, my name is. My name is. Then you respond, say your name. And when you're saying your name, you have to say the complete name you have on your international passport. By this complete name, you are not compelled to say them the way they are arranged chronologically. You know, on the international passport, you have the surname first, which is the last name. Then you have your given names, which comprises first and middle name, right? So when you are asked what's your name, you may choose to say my name is, then you say your full name. You may also be asked what's your name. All you need to do is My name's, then you say your name. You understand?
My name's.
My name's,
Yes,
my name's is on the board.
Yeah, it's like you won't. Okay.
If you ask me what's your name, I can tell you, oh, my name is Benedict Icky. My name is Benedict Icky, not my name is Benedict Icky. The second one there is more preferred. Contraction is there. Remember we said it is better to show off contractions when you are speaking. The third template there says, if you ask what's your name, you can simply say, I am Benedict Icky. Or what's your name? I am Benedict Icky, not am. I am Benedict Icky, not am Benedict Icky.
Okay. I.
No. When you say am, you have not said am. You didn't put yourself.
Okay. So
I am Benedict. I am Benedict Icky. Now these 4 templates, you have to choose just one out of the 4 and begin to practice and be conversant with it. My name's Benedict Icky. Very simple if you can. Right? So when you express yourself, the examiner would ask you again, and what can I call you? So when you are asked what can I call you, this is where the long English will now begin from. But the one about what's your name is very straightforward. There's nothing more to say. But what can I call you? You can simply say, oh, you can call me by my English name, Benedict. Or you can call me by my native name, Oluwadarasimi. Or you can call me by the short form of my name, Dara. You can as well want to show off. And the examiner asks you, what can I call you? And you're like, oh, well, I'm popularly called Benedict by my friends and family. But for the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you are trying to,
Yes.
they want to hear English, so I'm trying to start it early.
Hey.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm popularly called Benedict by my friends and family as well as my colleagues. But for the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben. The examiner will like, oh, Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Oh, sure. Here you go. Oh, of course. Here is my means of identification. Oh, yes, please. This is my means of identification.
Why not?
Why not? All right. It's not very friendly. It's more of casual conversation. Can I go to your house and stay? Oh, why not? Go ahead. But may I please take a look at your means of identification? There's no idea. Right? So, just simply say, yes please. Here you go, and you pass it across.
Oh, sure.
Or, sure. Here is my means of identification. Or, yes please. Or, certainly, you can take a look at my means of identification. But ensure you are speaking when you are handing that in. Then the examiner retrieves the passport from you, looks at it, confirms the name you had said earlier, looks at the photo on the passport, looks at you, and be sure you are still the person. And the examiner like, alright, you can keep that back, but the examiner just keep it there. The next question may be, so tell me Ben, where are you from? Right? So for where are you from, you may choose to apply this template of talking about your
The first family call me Oluwachi.
Please take.
Okay.
So share with us. Let's share from your knowledge, your wealth of knowledge. How to express what can I call it?
I'll spend them that I like this one.
Just say it, say
Okay.
it. That is what he wants to hear.
My family and friends call me Olomachi, but due to this exam, you can call me Oma.
Oh my, simple. Huh? Okay. So please get ready. I will take you through this particular stage after talking about your place of origin. Now, for your clients who are not Nigerians, in their own country, they do not have local governments. They just have states and region in the state and then the country. But in Nigeria, we all have community, we have local government area, we have states, we have geographical location of the state in the country, and then we have the name of our country. So we are trying to follow the template because the examiner would like to know where you are from. So when you are asked, so Ben, tell me, where are you from? You should go like, thank you very much for this opportunity. I actually hail from a small community called Obosi, in Obosi East Local Government Area of Anambra State. This is located in the southeastern part of Nigeria, right? Or, please tell me, where are you from? And I'm like, I hail from a cradle community called Igweben, in Igweben East Local Government Area of Edo State, located at the southern part of Nigeria. Start building your own. Where are you from? I am a native of a small town in Kanuri East Local Government Area of Borno State, located at the northern part of Nigeria. Borno is the northeast part of Nigeria? Okay, northeastern part of Nigeria, to be specific. Now, when you go to the Yoruba, you say, I'm from Ife, in Ife Road Local Government Area of Oyo State.
Osun State.
Ife is in Osun State? Ah, okay, in Osun State, located at the western part, southwestern part of Nigeria. Do you understand this?
Let's start from the back. Let's start from the back.
This is the IELTS speaking test held on the 8th of February 2024. I'm going to take you through the speaking sessions. But first, let me explain to you that these conversations are going to be recorded. I hope you're comfortable with that.
Yes.
Just to confirm that you have
You don't
enrolled.
have to respond to that.
Yes, you have to respond. This is to confirm that you have enrolled for the general training IELTS exam. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So we
Can
shall.
I say yes or yes, please?
Yes, please, or yes, of course. Okay, thank you. So we're about to begin. If you have any reason to ask any questions, please feel free. All right. My name is Benedict Eki. Please, what's your name?
My name is Mabel Bantai.
And what can I call you?
You can call me Mabel by my English name, Mabel.
All right, Mabel. May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Sure, please.
All right. Please tell me, Mabel, where are you from?
I hail from a small town in Benue State, Nigeria. What else?
Thank you. So there is no Otupo or there is no name in your Benue State. All right, other protocols observed. Good morning, my name is Benedict Eki. Please, what's your name?
Ifeji Augustine Oka.
What can I call you?
Alright, you can call me.
Did I increase this microphone, please? What can I call you?
My friends and families call me Oragis. So I prefer you call me Oragis.
Okay, Oragis. May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Sure.
All right, please tell me, where are you from?
Thank Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm hailed from a community called Mbidi in Obudu government of Enugu State, southeast of Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Please pass it to her.
Jesus.
All right, good morning. My name is Benedict Eke. May I please take a look at your list of identification, please?
Starting.
Okay, please tell me what's your name
My name is Wamaka Juliet Anwa.
and what can I call you?
You can call me Amaka.
All right, Amaka. Where are you from?
I'm from a small community in Anambra State. Umuze.
Don't worry, just
I'm from a small community called Obunka in Umuze, South local government area.
Of which state?
Anambra State.
Located
As Oluba South.
at the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Southeastern.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Please pass across to her.
tell my heart is
All right, good morning. My name is Benedict Eke. Please, what's your name?
My name is Mbawike Jennifer Olumachi.
Please, you're rushing yourself. You're going to break the leg. Take the mic closer to you. Okay, I'll take that again. My name is Benedict Eke. Please, what's your name?
My name is Mbawike Olumachi Jennifer.
What can I call you?
You can call me Oma.
All right, Oma, may I please take the information about the education?
Sure, you are.
And please tell me, Oma, where are you from?
Sorry, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm from Imizala over in Imo State, eastern part of Nigeria.
And the truth is, you rushed yourself and you had a lot of bad books when you were speaking.
Sorry, sir. Do you need to, when they ask you where you're from, what community you're from, are you supposed to say thank you for this opportunity before you speak?
She may just say, oh wow, I was looking forward to this. Just feel free and express yourself. This is speaking test. Now, let's understand something. When I was asking us questions, I noticed that at the point of turning in your means of identification, you were not professional, or you were not English in doing that. May I please take a look at your means of identification? Oh, sure. Here you go. There has to be you have to synchronize saying and giving. Gina, well done, eh? May I please take a look at your means of identification? Yes, please. Here is my means of identification. You see the connection? Not, of course. They are two different things. So please, let it synchronize the action of giving and saying, right? Then, talking about your place of origin, please remember you hail from a particular colony, right? Before you talk about the local government, then in the states located at a particular region of the country, right? So it's something you want to write down and look at and build in your mind. Don't cram, please. Don't cram anything. Just feel free and express yourself the way you can.
What do you mean by what you
We
like saying I'm from a small town in Macaulay from Benue State, Nigeria.
What's that small town? Macaulay is not a small town. Macaulay is big. There are towns in Macaulay. Yes. There are communities in Macaulay. Macaulay is not just a small place where all the people I know. Okay, do you know Onazi?
No, when you talk about small town, do you mean my village?
Can you call it a small village? Or?
No, even a town is a village can be a town. No.
Okay.
There are villages that are so developed and you can compare them to the cities. When you go to Anambra State, you know what I'm talking about. You know that Anambra State is more of a competitive environment where if you don't come home and build a mansion, you've not started. So it's right to say that this is a village anymore because a lot of structures are everywhere. So in Makurdi, there are small.
Okay, I hear from a small town in
Now you come. In Makurdi.
From Benue State.
Now, Makurdi, is it a local government of its own?
Yes.
Or is there a local are there local governments in Makurdi?
Well, I was
Makurdi is a local government.
Makurdi local government. Is it called Makurdi local government?
My village is a village. So wait. I heard from a small village of Umezala. This is my village.
I hear from a small village called Umeziara. In where?
In Ehimembano.
Local government area of Imo State. In Ehimembano local government area of Imo State. I hear from a small town or a small community called what do you call it? Umezago. In Ehimembano local government. Ehimembano is a local government.
Yes. In Ehimembano local government.
Area of Imo State, located at the southeastern part of Nigeria. I hear from your name of your community. Ikbayong.
Yes.
I hear from a small community called Ikbayong in Makurdi local government area of Benue State, which is located at the central or middle belt area of Nigeria. Do you understand?
But this one is also good, Sabi. I'm a native of Umezi.
Good.
In Ehimembano local
Government
government
area of Benue State.
area of Benue State, which is located at.
I wanted to make the man laugh the day I did the first one. That's why he was told me. I told him I'm from a small clan.
I hail from
A small clan called Omomadu village in Ogologo government of Enugu State. He said, Omo.
Did he laugh?
Why not?
And you said he was carrying a new face.
yeah,
Why?
because he's not there to start laughing.
No, we are not saying you should laugh, but just be
It
calm.
was me. Then when I started telling him
Yeah.
that thing, he
started
don't
smiling.
understanding. He was not understanding what I was saying. Omomadu. Say, what you do, Omomadu?
So you're
Mr. Can
speaking
you
test.
assist me in my own?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of your community? Who is it?
My own is Ogunka Gongo, but
The local government is what?
it's Orumba South.
Orumba South.
Yes.
I hear from a small community called
Ogunka.
Ogunka
Yes.
in Orumba South local government area of Anambra State, located at southeastern part of Nigeria. Do you understand? So you fix it.
Oh, English hard.
My sister.
So let's try it again.
Located
Because
in the southeast.
Have you written what you have to say? There are different ways to say this. So it's not only a hill that exists.
I am a native.
I'm a native of. I'm an indigenous of. I come from. I hail from.
I'm a native of.
Yes. So good.
I am a native.
In Makurdi local government area, but I'm really doubting this Makurdi local government area. Somehow.
Makurdi is supposed to be capital of Benue State.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
It's not a
It's not
local
local
It's
government.
not. So,
There is.
What's the name of your local government?
we local government.
That is the problem. Makurdi is the state capital.
So, I'm a
Yes.
native of Mr. Sage.
I'm a native of Ikbayong. In Young, is it Young or one local government?
Igbayogo of what? I'm a native of Igbayogo.
In
In
Gwe local government area of Benue State.
Makurdi should not come in.
Makurdi is not coming.
Makurdi is the state capital.
That's why it's sounding somehow in my ears.
So it's the state capital.
Gwe local government.
Area of Benue State. Located at the Middle Belt area region or North Central, right? It's North Central too.
Located at the North Central.
North Central, Benue and Plateau State.
Is not central. Not central.
North Central, yes.
Located at the North Central.
Yes.
North Central.
Plateau and Benue fall under North Central.
North Central, that's
North Central part of Nigeria.
Kogi and Kwara.
Kogi and Kwara, yes. That's correct.
Even
Part of
Niger is part of Niger is part of Niger State.
Do you understand this now?
Yes.
All right, let's proceed. Those viewing from YouTube, please, it's be nice to also see that you have understood this if you're able to drop your place of origin, so we'll know whether you are following or not. So please feel free to express yourself, understand how to go about expressing your name and your place of origin, and practice it. You need to get someone that will be asking you questions, or if you don't have anyone with you, we're supposed to have some questions that will be sent to people so that you read those questions to yourself and record the questions. Then each time you read or say or ask a question on your phone and record it, leave about 6 seconds to go or pass by before you ask the next question. So that when you are now ready to speak, play the recording, you will see that a question will come, and within the 6 seconds you left, you'll be able to say something. So that's the way it will be easier for you to interact and also practice the speaking test. Now let's proceed. So after expressing your place of origin, examiner will ask you, could you please tell me a little bit about your community? This is where you now talk about your community as regards the estimated population of the people of your community. Estimated population is an estimation, so it mustn't be accurate. Then talk about the popular or predominant occupation of the people of your community. Talk about the delicacies, your native delicacies. Talk about the festivals or festivals being celebrated or observed or marked in your community. Talk about the general description of the people of your community. That's whether they are generous, they are accommodating, hospitable, if they are jovial and friendly, if they are industrious, or they are lazy set of Nigerians. So, you can as well go for that to say that your community is surrounded by a few neighboring villages called, you then give the name or names of the people. Do you understand this? Now, after expressing all of that, examiner would ask you, please tell me, what do you do? When an examiner asks you what do you do, the examiner is asking to know about your employment status. If you are gainfully employed, or you are an entrepreneur, or you are a student. These are the 3 categories of people we have. Now, if you are asked what do you do and you are employed, simply say, what do you do? Oh, thank you very much. For me, I am gainfully employed by so and so, and this came as a result of my graduation or completion of the 4-year study I had at the University of blah blah blah, where I acquired or obtained a dash in the university. Please, do you understand this? You can also start by saying, if the examiner asks you, all right, Ben, tell me, what do you do? Oh, well, having studied medicine in the university for 6 years, I've actually graduated with nice grades and worked with a couple of health facilities. At the moment, I'm gainfully employed by the Federal Ministry of Health under National Hospital in Abuja. See all the English. I'm trying to just express that you are employed by government. Right? So that's for someone who is gainfully employed. For someone who is an entrepreneur, that's a business owner. What do you do? Oh, thank you for this opportunity. I'm actually a business owner, an entrepreneur to be precise. I own a small firm where I carry out the business of blah blah blah. Chicken. That's all. Then if you are a student, what do you do? Oh, thank you. I just graduated from the university where I studied XYZ for 4 years. I'm currently undergoing a compulsory 1-year service under a scheme called National Youth Service Corps. However, I'm looking to further my education to obtain a master's degree. That's for a student. Now, once you've expressed where the category you belong or fall on, examiner will then ask you, what job do you do? The first one was what you do, right? Now he's asking what job do you do. Remember I said what do you do is asking about your employment status, right? What job do you do is asking about your job roles, your job descriptions. So what job do you do? So as a medical doctor, you talk about what roles you play in the hospital. As a nurse, talk about what you do. As an entrepreneur, talk about your business roles, right? But as a student, nobody will ask you what job do you do because you have established that you're a student. So your only job is to study, right? So you may be asked, why did you go for the course that you studied or you are studying? So that course is your drive. Or what is your drive for going into that particular area of discipline? So you need to find out what it is exactly that made you choose that particular course. It could be because of your family desire, your family wants a nurse or a medical expert, so it fell on your shoulders. It could be because you've always admired a particular medical doctor. You want to be like the doctor, so you are trying to go through the footsteps. Maybe Ben Carson is your role model. You want to also be able to operate conjoined twins. Maybe you want to be a politician because you saw what the presidents are doing, the governors do. You want to be like them. So there has to be something that may have triggered or prompted you to go for the area of discipline or professionalism that you have chosen. Then next, you'll be asked a couple of questions about societal issues. For instance, what type of families exist in your community? What type of families exist? So you want to talk about how many types of families do we have? Nuclear and extended families. That's correct. These are the two types of families that we have, right? Now, don't just say there are two types of families, the nuclear and extended families. Don't stop at that. Go further to define what a nuclear family is and what an extended family is. Do you understand? Nuclear comprises...
societal issues.
Yes.
Your views on societal issues.
Issues are they not problem?
No.
Issues.
Societal issues. It could be discourse, it could be happenings, it could be anything. Now, talking about families, you may also be asked, which do you prefer, the small or the large family? Paraphrasing has taken place. What is the small family called? Nuclear family. So examiner is paraphrasing it for you. So when you say a small family, don't stop at that. You need to give reasons. Reasons you prefer the nuclear family. If you want to go for the extended family, give reasons for that. Right? Then examiner may also ask you, how do people spend time with their families in your country or in your community? How do people spend time with their families? In speaking test, please don't forget this. In speaking test, examiners really appreciate if you are able to speak in the past, present, and possibly project the future. Please, do you understand this? So, if you are asked, how do people spend time with their families, maybe in your country or in your community, you should make a retrospect. Before now, people spend time with their families during dinner. So everyone gets to eat from the same bowl or dish. Right? And while the munching or the meals are being eaten, they talk about how the day went and how the next day will go. You can see went, past, will go, future. Do you understand? However, at the moment, okay, also some families spend time with their some people spend time with their families in the past by having what we call moonlight tales, right? They told stories. What type of stories? Maybe stories of how animals did this and that, especially tortoises. They told us a lot of lies about tortoises.
And they are still telling us.
They told us a lot of lies about tortoises. How tortoises went to the sky with birds to eat food and went there and changed his name to all of us. And then the food was brought and served and said, this food belongs to all of you. And Tati said, well, before we came, I told us my mommy gave me the name all of you, so this food belongs to you. Right? So we are told people spend time with their families by having time to talk about tales. Right? It could be tales of animals, it could be tales about war, it could be tales about religion, whatever it is, even traditional tales, right? Customs and traditions.
Yes, sir. Please, I want you to tell us more about drive and motivation.
Why you went to a particular area of discipline? I said it could be because your family might desire to have a particular profession in their house. Currently, a lot of parents have planned ahead the professions they want in their house. They want a soldier, they want a lawyer, and they want a medical profession. So that if there is a problem, the military will go and front the situation. If there is a case, the lawyer will take care of it. If there is a health issue, the medical personnel would come in. Right? So it depends. If that's the situation, then that's why you went for that. It could also be because growing up as a child, you've always had passion for a particular thing. So it is only natural for you to go in for it, to acquire it professionally. It could also be because you have a role model you've always dreamt to be like when you grow up. So right about now, it is time you have to go study that same field. It could also be because you've had this great love for this profession. Maybe the profession pays a lot. Those who go into oil and gas, engineering, IT, robotics, you feel they have a lot of money. Those who go into data analytics, you feel they have a lot of money. So you want to go for that field. It could also be because you went for that field because the remuneration is better off and employability is very global. Like nurses now. Nursing is a global profession. Anywhere in the world, they are in high demand, right? Medical doctors. In fact, nurses are more demanded than medical doctors, right? Caregivers now in high demand, not only in UK and Canada, everywhere in the world because of the age category, right? The IT experts, is a global profession. As far as you're good, you can be in your country and you are working for Microsoft. You can be in your country, you are doing jobs for different countries and being paid in their currencies, right? So it depends on you. It could also be a vocation. You want to go into the religious vocation. Maybe you want to be a priest, you want to be a nun, you want to be a monk, whatever it is, right? So these are things that will drive you. Then lastly, it could be because of the Benjamin, the money. For instance, in a country such as Nigeria, people no longer go into a profession because of the passion and dignity, no? They are going into a profession because the take home can take them home. Not the one you are doing. You
So you can actually say that.
Of course. But you have to say it in a very modest way. Right? The examiner asked me, so what's your drive? Why did you go into this area of specialism? And I'm like, well, thank you for this opportunity to actually express myself. I've over the years studied different professions, not by going into school to study them, but observing those who have studied it. And I realized that at the end of the course, they find it difficult to get a job because they are not being appreciated in the country. So I feel for survival skills, I have to go for a course that would actually pay me and I'm being appreciated because I want something that will be able to put food on my table and also take care of my needs. See what I'm saying? So I'm not using those other ways. So these are ways to express or respond to questions about drive and motivation. So let's go back to societal issues. You may also be asked, what's the favorite part of your house?
Sorry, sir. Are you saying once they ask you about your views on societal issues, you go talking about the family? Or
I'm asking you specific questions that are related to societal issues.
Okay. They'll ask you a particular question.
They will ask you questions that are related to society. So first I've talked about family, types of family, your choice or preference of family, how families spend time together. Now I'm asking another one. I said, what is the favorite part of your house to you? What's the favorite part of your house?
Favorite part of my house? Kitchen.
Wow.
Kitchen. Nice.
Functional for
Very.
enjoyment. Functional for enjoyment.
Is that Susan? Okay. So that's perfect. The favorite part, they don't just say kitchen. Speak, make a sentence. Wow, this is a question I was actually looking forward to. The favorite part of my house to me is my kitchen. This is attitude. Right? So you're being free. And don't stop at that. I love my kitchen because it allows me to express myself through cooking. I am able to prepare wonderful meals for my family to keep them healthy. And I also get to taste different delicacies while I prepare them. Do you understand? You may also be asked, and you say the favorite part of the house to you is your sitting room. You need to say why. Maybe the paintings on the walls are beautiful. Maybe it's spacious and well ventilated. Maybe it's a place where you accommodate visitors and relations. Do you understand? It's a place you have a time out to have to listen to news or watch other things. If it's your bedroom, maybe privacy, maybe the interior decorations and whatever thing, you have to give reasons. For me, it's my toilet.
I wanted to say that.
It's my toilet. That's the favorite part of my house to me. It gives me maximum privacy and inspirations too. Right? So it depends on you. Examiners don't care. You just say what you prefer.
The one they ask you, they will not ask you the reasons. You just say
You
it.
keep talking. Okay, you missed the beginning part of this. Okay, you may also be asked, please tell me about your daily routine. Daily routine. We know the daily routine now, right? Jennifer, tell us about your daily routine.
Waking up, doing exercise.
Are you saying the truth? No, even though IELTS is not concerned about how true what you're saying is anyway. So build nice.
Let me say the
response.
reason, maybe you put the sentence. Praying, doing exercise, eating.
You just pray, just as I eat. You don't cook the food.
No, food is ready.
It's already cooked while you're sleeping. Auntie. So,
She has a
okay, that's nice. Now, but that is not a daily routine. If you wake up, pray, eat. Is that all?
Like sweep the house, do the house chores. Like,
So what happens next? Understand daily routine. Daily routine runs from morning till night. Do you understand? So you have to build story or response that will take you through morning or from morning through night. So, well, this is a tough one. Anyway, I'll give my best shot. So my daily routine would be waking up in the morning, saying my prayers with my family, having or engaging in a little exercise, taking a little time to also meditate about the day, then getting into the kitchen to prepare what I will take for the day, and pack into my lunch bag or lunch box. Then I take my bath, I drive down to work, I go to work. I work for about 8 hours. I close from work. I also go back home, and going back home takes me about an hour because of some traffic jam that's usually experience on our way home. When I get home, I prepare my lunch. I take the lunch, have a little time out to read or watch news or watch movies. Then I say my night prayers and I retire to the bed. So this is how my routine goes from Monday through to Friday. My Saturdays vary because different programs can arise at different Saturdays or weekends, right? So this is a daily routine. Your daily routine should have a beginning and should also end. Then you run it that it happens this way from so day to so day. Please, do you understand this? Now, an examiner may ask you to please tell me how you spend your weekends. How do you spend your weekends? Jennifer, we're still listening to you. Please use the mic. How do you spend your weekend?
I spend my weekends doing house stresses, cooking,
Chores.
chores, cooking. Then on Sundays I go to church.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Madam, please take the mic from her.
Okay.
But before you speak, what days are weekends in your country?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
What's the first day of the week?
Monday. Sunday. Okay, Sunday. That's Sunday.
Weekends are Fridays and Saturdays.
Monday.
Sundays are the first days of the week. Right? But the first working day of the week is Monday. That's why people don't consider it. Right? So please, if you're talking about your weekends, establish that weekends in your country run are observed on Fridays and Saturdays. So how you spend your weekend should be your activities within Friday and Saturdays only. Alright, madam, please may I know how do you spend your weekends?
Okay. My weekends on Friday. In the morning, when I wake up in the morning.
Please establish days you observe.
Okay.
My weekends are usually Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay.
So on Fridays, this is so stop talking.
My weekends are usually Fridays and Saturdays. So on Friday, when I wake up in the morning, I have family prayers in my family.
You don't have a prayer, you say prayer.
Okay, I say prayer with my family. After that, I'll go to the kitchen and prepare food for my kids and for the family to eat.
They are not kids, they are children.
Okay, for my children,
For this language.
for my children to take to school.
Okay, sorry. You are giving us a routine instead of how you spend your weekends. They are two different things.
Okay.
You are giving us your Friday routine. How do you spend your weekends? Be very precise. Well, thank you for this opportunity. My weekends are usually Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays I go to work and or I go for my business and I return earlier than normal because we consider Fridays to be half days, right? So I have more time to spend at home. So to an extent, I tend to stay up at night longer than normal because I know the next day I will be waking up to prepare children to go to school since it's going to be a Saturday, right? So that's the way I spend my Fridays. Then on Saturday proper, we have more time to sleep. So instead of waking up at 6, the family tends to allow everyone to sleep and wake up as late as 7 or 8 possibly. And then we have division of labor. Everyone is engaged in doing the house chores. Personally, I get into the kitchen and prepare meals. I also go to the market to top up things in the house. I cook and package in the fridge for the week. Then if I have functions to attend such as birthdays, weddings, or any other functions, I also carry out that. If I have to take my family out on Saturday, then I do that. So this is the way I spend my weekends. You don't need to tell a lot of stories. Please, do you understand, Mother?
Yes.
Please give Mother the mic. Please tell us, how do you spend your weekends?
You have said it.
Thank you very much. My Friday is always a busy one. From 7:30 to the hours of 5, it's always stressful.
AM or PM?
PM. It's always stressful. And after 5, from 5:30 to 6, I'll be at home. After which, I'll go for choir practice. When I'm done with the choir practice, I return home, say my prayers and plan for the next day, that is Saturday. In the morning hours on Saturday, I pray with my family, go out for a workout for like 2 hours and come back. When I come back from workout, I'll look straight to my dining table to see what has been prepared for me. After taking my meal, I'll rest a bit before I go out, because from 12 p.m. on Saturdays, I normally have a meeting with some of my clients that ends around 2 p.m. That is the time I'll have time to visit 1 or 2. I have some business unfinished. But I return home once it's 4:30. I'll still go back to church for rehearsal, drama rehearsal. I come back around 6:30, play with my family, then watch news sometimes, then retire to bed.
All right, thank you so much. Those viewing on YouTube, I wish we can also have from you or hear from you how you spend your weekends. So please work on that. Let us know or understand how to express yourself when the examiner asks you how you spend your weekends. Let's go to the next question. The examiner may also ask you, did you enjoy eating chocolates while growing up as a child? Did you enjoy chocolate while growing up as a child? If you are asked this type of question, of course, maybe yes or no, right? If it is yes, talk about how you had the chocolates, who got it for you, the type of chocolate it was, and how often you usually eat chocolates. If it's a no, don't come out bluntly to say no. Find a way to express why it wasn't something you had the opportunity to do while growing up.
So if I'm to say no now, I said, sorry, I never had the opportunity because I was bred in the village, which has no access to chocolate. I only hear about people telling me that something they call chocolate because of my timidity, the kind of environment I came from. I was able to have a shot to that.
Okay, that's a raw expression. For IELTS, I would say, did you enjoy eating chocolate while growing up as a child? Well, I would say not really, because I wasn't privileged as such to have a lot of chocolates. Because where I grew up as a child, we were not so exposed. It wasn't modernized. It wasn't a modern environment. So chocolates were not things we talked about. We prioritize our funds for food that will sustain us better than going for chocolates. Please, do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
You have said no, but you said it in a way that they will understand. Right?
So are you trying to say that any questions they ask you, you shouldn't bluntly say no?
Yes.
No.
And you cannot say, you can't, when a question is asked, you can't say no idea. Next question, no, you must attend to every question. Whether it is something you have idea about or not, you must attend.
And you should just be talking.
Yes, you have to speak.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes, boss.
Now, the next one, you may also be asked,
10 minutes is too small.
tell me about a book you read recently. When last did you read?
Ha.
So you can do that.
Exactly.
You start from somewhere.
When I was in secondary school, that was the last time I read. I'm telling you.
Tell me about a book you read recently. We don't read in Africa. We have bad reading culture. So, but you cannot say, I'm actually not a reading type. That's not something I have to say. Tell me about a book you read recently. Wow, thank you so much. I was actually looking forward to this. Convert the movie you saw last night, because you don't read, you watch.
So if they ask you, who's the author?
This is where creativity comes in.
And nobody.
You know what IELTS means? IELTS is testing your intelligence and creativity and spontaneity. So tell me about a book you read recently. Wow, this is something I'm actually looking forward to. Well, you're not looking forward to it, but say it. Right? Just say it. So, not too long ago, I think about 6 days back, I read a book titled If You Have a Brain, Use It. It was written by Ben Morrison. You should go and find out. Right? So you have to build nice stories to respond to questions. Then, the book is about 200 pages. Right? Let me go and look for it. When they find it in the bookshop, they will find out that it's 200 pages. Right? So the book taught me how to actually be innovative and creative, especially in situations where I'm not prepared. That's a question, no? Do you understand this? So you need to be quite creative and be ready at every point in time. But if you're actually someone who reads, then it's easy for you to respond without stress. Now, tell me about a movie you watched not too long ago. If you're not a movie person, convert situations around you to film and say the story. So give a major character or key role player. Give the person a name. Talk about what the movie taught you. That's all. You don't need to rack your head. Try to think about the truth or saying, the last time I heard was when I went to my right? It will be an issue because anything you are saying now might be used against you in the court of law.
Issue or issue?
It will be an issue.
Issue.
How do you pronounce? Is there a H here? Issue is Yoruba now. I don't know.
Societal issues.
Societal issues, not issues. Issues. Yes, ma'am.
The people that are asking this question, are they black or you?
Some, you might meet an examiner that you are fairer than. Do you understand?
I mean, are they
I'm also responding to your question. I said you might meet an examiner and you are fairer than the person.
Okay.
What does that mean?
That means black, as in Africa.
But don't undermine the person you will see.
I know.
The person might start talking to you using the normal Nigerian English. Hello, don't be nervous now. Just calm down. It's just an exam. There's nothing to put yourself on high tensions for. Right? Just speak up. The person is trying to calm you down, right? But once the person tells you, right, so we're about to begin. Are you ready? The person will switch. Hi, good morning. My name is Benedict. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked, right? No, don't. To remain who you are.
So I hope I will not stand staring at
if they surprise you, shock them too.
Okay.
Right? So, if they start rolling their tongues, don't try to emulate them. Don't try to mimic them. You didn't prepare for that. You've not been trained for that. They have been trained and certified. So you are advised strongly to remain very natural. You know how the Indians speak? Do you watch Indian movies?
I don't know what you are saying.
Thank you. You have to dance for us. Namaste. God bless you. That's the way they speak. Anywhere, they don't care about you. As long as you can understand what they're saying, they are perfect. And guess what? They are everywhere in the world. So if they are looking for accents, will they go? No. Another people that flood other countries, the Chinese. Chinese are everywhere too. So, but it's not about accents, just be natural. But ensure your pronunciation and enunciations are okay. Ensure that your grammar are coming out well, right? Now you may also be asked, do you enjoy your job? Do you enjoy the job you do? So you need to talk about your job. Talk about how you enjoy the job, why you enjoy it, right? If you're opportune to change jobs, what might you go for? If you would like to change jobs, you say, talk about the next one, your alternative job, or your alternative.
And why?
And why? Do you understand? What do you think, what type of accommodation do you live in? They may ask you. Please describe your current accommodation. They're not asking you for address, direction. Please. No. I live in a 4-bedroom duplex or bungalow. It's quite spacious, well decorated. We have a master room. We have the children's room too, and a visitor's room. Of course, it's quite secure. That's okay. So you need to know the types of houses and accommodations that exist. It's not self-contained. There's no self-contained in the world. It's in Nigeria you have self-contained. So you want to talk about, if you want to mention self-contained, you call it ensuite. Ensuite, yes. Yes. I live in a single room. There's an ensuite, meaning there is toilet, there is kitchen.
Ensuite.
Yes.
These are the spelling.
I think he's suits and rentals.
See? Did you know it
Now, I will say a suit.
That's
So what about
French
penthouse?
borrowed into English. It's a
I
French
think he's
word.
in suits.
Hmm?
In suits.
It's not only in suit, it's in jackets.
So self-contained is also.
Yes. If you live in a 4-bedroom, every room is ensuite, meaning it is self-contained. There are other types of houses. We have the penthouse, like you mentioned. We have duplex. We have terrace. We have bungalow. We have studio. You know, there's a type of house called studio, right?
Yeah.
It's not where they produce music.
I don't know.
So you need to also find out.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, these are many more questions that may come your way. Please, I want to establish this. What we have done here are not the fixed questions, but they are likely questions. So don't go cramming what you have heard here and fix your mind to it. Then when it comes to personal preference, examiner might ask you, please tell me, what's your dream car? What is your dream car? So you want to talk about your dream car. Now your dream car should have a model, a product, and then interior should be talked about, the painting of the car, the shape of the car, the balance or stability of the car, the speed of the car. Do you understand? So you want to talk about all of these. You might also be asked to talk about your dream house. Dream house. So you might dream to live in an automated house, a Tesla house, where you command the gadgets in your house. Light on. Curtain lights. Door open. You know, all of those things. You want to talk about that. You also need to establish where you want your house to be situated. It could be on an island, it could be on a hill, it could be on a valley, it could be anywhere. You have to establish all of that. Then, if you're asked to talk about your favorite color, don't go talking about a color that doesn't have so much to talk about. Madam, what's your favorite color? White. Okay, so let's know why white is your favorite color. White is a nice color to choose in speaking test. Yes. One, it indicates purity. It gives class, right? It's also a color that is not selective. It can go with any other color, right? So you want to say different things. If you want to talk about other colors, don't go for pink. After being a feminine color, what else? It makes you feel like a princess. And after that,
It's flashy.
pink is flashy. What shade of pink? Not
What about
flashy.
blue?
Blue, not blue. Okay, blue is not English. That's not blue. Blue is nice. Because you might link it to the golf club. You might also link it to the sky. You might link it to different things. So talk about it. It's fun. Alright. Now, you might also be asked to describe the wedding you last attended. So you need to create a wedding in your head. Create a reception in your head. Talk about the reception, the type of food you had, the quality of music you danced to, the colorful environment, the class of people you met, These are things you want to talk about. So overall, this part 1 is usually quite interactive. It doesn't stay this long, actually. Maybe 3 minutes or 4. Part 1 is over. Yes, please.
Okay, sir. You know, when you just bring out something from your head, as in you want to make something to become real, will they come back to that question and ask you so that they will know whether
What you said was
it
true.
was true or
They might not, but they may. That's why I tell people, always remember whatever you say. Because examiners might twist the question or ask the question in a different way. So they want to see whether you will still say the same thing and you said earlier. Alright, let's go to part 2. Part 2 is asked, or part 2 comes with a question paper called cue card. Please, here you go. Focus on this box. Please don't look elsewhere. Focus on the box. Focus on the box, please. Focus on the box. There you go. Alright, so that's the cue card. On the day of your speaking test, you're going to be given the paper called cue card, just like what you have right there. The cue card usually comes with a particular scenario or situation that you are required to describe. It will be written right there on the cue card. And immediately under the situation you're supposed to describe, you will see you should say. Then the question paper will have like 3 or 4 bullet points, like you also have on that cue card. What are the bullet points there? Who you visited, where this person worked, why you visited this person's workplace, and explain how you felt about visiting this person's workplace. These are bullet points which we call prompters. They are prompters because they will help you to respond to the questions in well-articulated templates and also without omitting any of the areas that the examiner is expecting of you to cover. Now, the cue card is usually meant to last for just 2 minutes. You are supposed to speak about the situation there just for 2 minutes. During your part 2, examiner does not ask you questions at all. This is the question you have. Examiner does not talk to you. The only thing the examiner does will be, okay, we have come to the end of your speaking test part 1. We shall go straight into the second part. Here is a cue card. You have to describe what is written on there. And that's a piece of paper right in front of you. You're free to make notes if you wish to. You have 40 seconds or 60 seconds to make notes. Your time starts now. The examiner will set the 40 or 60 seconds. And within that 60 seconds, you need to jot something quickly on a small piece of paper, plain sheet that will be given to you. Right? Remember I said go with your passport and the writing with your pen or pencil, right? So that pen or pencil, this is the time you have to use it. Now what do you jot? What do you write? On the cue card, it says, describe a time you visited a friend or a family member at their workplace, right? That's what you have to describe. Now to help you get your description correctly, you have to talk about who you visited. So on that piece of paper, write the name of the person on the piece of paper. Please, are you following? When you write the name of the person, the next bullet point here says where this person worked. Write the name of the employer. That's the office where the person worked. You might add little address to remember the location of the facility. Then, why you visited this person? Briefly give 1 line why you visited the person. Don't try to narrate story in writing. You don't have the time.
Are you going to submit the paper?
No, you hold the paper when you are speaking. The examiner may retrieve the cue card from you, but the one you jotted down, you are free to hold it and look at it while you are speaking. So, because of the points you jotted down, it will help you to remember how to go about responding to the questions. Do you understand this? At this point, there are yardsticks. The 4 yardsticks we talked about when we started essay writing, task achievements, task cohesion and coherence, lexical resources, and grammatical range and accuracies. Examiners are also evaluating all of those things for you when you are speaking. So, because you have 4 bullet points, if you are able to only talk about 3 and your time elapses, you lose mark for task achievement because you are not able to complete all the questions. Please, do you understand this? Now, your task cohesion and coherence, you should not deviate. Don't deviate while you're speaking, but you are free to digress. right? You are free to cite little instances elsewhere that would also buttress what you are talking about. Then, when you are speaking, remember you are supposed to contract. I wasn't able, I couldn't, she wasn't there, they weren't there, contract. Don't say they were not there. He was not able. He wasn't able. They weren't there. I wasn't sure about it. So that's contraction. Use more of that when you're speaking. Then lexical resources, bring in more advanced expressions. Don't say she came and told me, they come and go. All of that. Don't use that type of English. Right? Express yourself. When you're having your cue cards, your part 2, 1, don't speak sluggishly. And don't be fast. If you're fast, you will exhaust your points before 2 minutes. And if you exhaust your points before 2 minutes, examiner will not talk to you until the 2 minutes elapses. So you'll be looking at yourselves and be doing breathing exercise. Right? So you need to have a very moderate pace of speaking. Don't rush yourself and don't be too fast. And don't be sluggish. So what do? After writing out the points on that piece of paper, in your head, create a storyline that will allow you to narrate all of those points. Please, do you understand this? So that storyline will help you to have an elongated story. It will give you more talking time while you respond to the questions. Do you understand this? Then, once you have spoken up to 2 minutes, examiner will interject. Alright, thank you so much. That's the end of your speaking test, part 2. We shall go next into the third part. Yes,
So,
please.
sir, can you give us an example how you will say this, the part 2?
Alright.
So what if you not finish and what if you are still talking and the examiner your
Interjects.
time elapses?
If you are still speaking and the examiner interjects when you are not done talking, right?
Yes.
When you've not covered all the areas, 2 things are involved. It's either you are not giving an interesting and engaging story.
Okay.
Do you understand? Or you were beating around the bush for so long. So examiner, out of boredom, examiner will just interject when the time elapses. But if you are hitting the points, alright, and you have a lot to say, examiner might give you a few more moments to complete what you have to say. So that's why it is important you articulate your points. So on this, describe a time when you visited a friend or a family member at their workplace. You should say who you visited, where this person worked, why you visited this person's workplace, and explain how you felt. Alright. When the examiner tells you, okay, so that's your time, you may now begin. Your 2 minutes begins to count. So you may start by saying, okay, so it's a great opportunity to actually retrospect this particular situation. It's been over 15 years, but I can still remember it very vividly. I've always been an introvert or introverted person. I don't like associating with people, so I'm always enjoying my space. So on that day, I can remember that was on the 4th of August 2001. My friend had been inviting me or to come to his office, but because of my personality, I always turned down all of these invites. But on that particular day, it was a special day for him, so I had to do what I had to do to make his day memorable. Quickly, knowing that it was his birthday, I needed to give him a surprise birthday package. So I contracted this surprise birthday group. They usually they usually visit people with trumpets, nice souvenirs and other things. So I reached out to them, I told them what I wanted, and they actually agreed to go with me.
Sorry, sir, you have not mentioned the friend's name.
This is the story that will help me speak for 2 minutes.
And you've not said where the person.
No, like it's not just where. At least the first one is who. You are telling us the story already, and you haven't called the friend's
No,
name.
who you visit, that's a friend. But the place I'm with, where this person work. You've not even said
She
where.
said is a friend. What is the person's name? That's what she
That's
said.
what I'm trying to
You
say.
don't need to mention names.
You must.
No.
No, but I'm still giving
No,
you a
I'm
story.
saying
You don't
it
understand.
because it's 2 minutes and
Yes, 2 minutes might look short, right?
yes.
When you go for IELTS, you understand what I'm saying.
She'll be short.
Long.
Let it be short.
It's long.
Let me tell you something you don't understand.
Yes,
2 minutes in IELTS is like speaking for 2 years.
Oh. English in my house will
That
finish.
time is good. Like
2 minutes is quite short, not naturally. But when you go for speaking tests, 2 minutes is like speaking for 2 years. You would, in 40 seconds, I've answered these 4 questions if you want me to. And if you complete your answers in 40 seconds, you still have about 80 more seconds or thereabouts. And this time will not end. Because the examiner will keep staring at you.
That's telling her is what that's.
You scare your.
So what do? It is this storyline.
but after this
Let me
story,
tell you
sir,
that
after
too.
this story, if your time elapses, can you still speak and like say another story?
No.
That particular story.
No, but this is
So they understood my proposals and agreed to actually work with me. So on that day, I said it earlier, 4th of August 2001, we all set out to my friend's office. Lest I forget, his name is Johnson Toba. He works at NNPC Tower right in the city of Abuja. So when I got to the office, the security protocols are quite tight, so they didn't let me in initially. I had to speak to the head of security and explain all I wanted to do, and he eventually allowed me in. My friend's office is at the 4th floor, so we had to use the elevator. So when we got to the 4th floor, coincidentally, upon trying to come out of the elevator, lo and behold, he was also trying to get into the elevator. So we met ourselves there. And immediately, I told the surprise birthday team that this is the person, and he started singing and playing the trumpet. It was so fascinating. He had a lot of teary eyes, and it was actually tears of joy because he least expected that. He hugged me and screamed, and the whole colleagues in the office turned around. They were shocked. So they stood up, and we were also surprised to know that it was his birthday. So they joined us. So they singing. So and we cut the cake, took some photographs, and then he took me around. He took me on a tour around his office, and I was well impressed because that place was quite cozy. It was more like an interesting place than an office. So I was impressed by my action and decisions. I was impressed with my package for him. It was quite a nice place to go to. So I was so impressed. This story will take you through 2 minutes, and I'll answer those questions. Do you understand? So you don't need to rush. If you rush, you complete your answers and you run out of words and points. So have a story that will be engaging. Examiner might be smiling with the package and they want to hear more. But if you start and say, I visited my friend who works at NNPC on the 4th of August 2001. I went there to give you a surprise package, and we actually met incidentally when I got to the 4th floor where his office was. And I presented that. He was quite surprised and impressed. So he took me around his office, we took photographs, and I was satisfied doing that. I've answered all the questions for 40 seconds. So what will you be doing with the remaining time? You will shoot yourself in the foot, right? So please narrate a story that would sustain you for 2 minutes. That's what you need to build. So how do you do this? At the point of drafting those points on the piece of paper, create a story in your head. Let the story be quite engaging and interesting because you are talking to an examiner. So with this, you'll be able to speak for 2 minutes. Else, 2 minutes is
And
long.
when you are narrating this, they'll be looking straight into
Yes, now they want to see how genuine the story is.
Oh, wow. This
Huh?
is something.
The examiners want to see how genuine that story is. So you need to show that confidence. You are smiling. You are smiling. You are talking. You are smiling. You are giving some facial gestures and body language. That will sustain you for 2 minutes, uninterrupted. And you'll be able to bring in all of those points that examiners are looking to see.
What if you are putting a smiley face and talking? Not that you're laughing or just
That's perfect. It will help them to not detect your tension.
Okay.
You know, you can be smiling, but in your mind is hitting.
As in hot seat. Like the hot seat.
Right? Your heartbeat is so loud, but with the tension, it will actually pass a different impression. So that's the way to go when you are treating your speaking test. Then let's go to the last part, which is called the supporting or follow-up questions. Now, your supporting or follow-up questions are questions that examiners ask you, and your supporting or follow-up questions may come from three different areas. The first area your supporting question can come is the part that would indicate your occupation, which you may have filled at the point of registering for the exam. So examiners may ask you questions that border around the occupation you filled at the point of registering for the examination. Right? Second area where your questions can come from, your supporting questions, could be the cue card. The cue card topic. Examiners may ask you questions, may twist a few more questions that relate to that topic you spoke on from the cue card. Then lastly, examiners may ask you weird questions. Weird questions. So please, when weird questions come, feel free. Don't rush. Don't say, I have no idea. This is the point where I tell people, speak nonsense in good English. Right? Because weird questions will hit you really hard that in 10 seconds you are still rebooting. Right? So at this point, don't let it show on your face. Don't let it show, rather wear some smiley face and say to the examiner, could you please spare me a few seconds to think about this? They will allow you. Alright, Mr. Maka, could you please tell me, how do babies in the womb grow hairs on their head?
Oh.
Right? But you can answer that question.
How babies?
In the womb, grow hairs on their head. Huh?
The development in their as time, I don't, when they are growing in the stomach.
They grow.
They develop.
Okay, yeah, they develop. It's better. It's better to use develop. So when babies are forming, when they are developing, right? So that's the point. But this is not all. What else can you say? This is where you speak nonsense. Just in good English. Tell the examiner, could you please spend a few seconds to think about this? You're not thinking of nothing, there's nothing. Don't worry yourself. But they will give you a few seconds. So after the few seconds, you come back and you're like, alright, this is actually a hard nut to crack, but I'll give you my best shot. Regarding the question, I would like to begin by establishing a number of things. First and foremost, babies in the womb grow hairs on their head based on different factors. First, I would say it is a mysterious process that no one can actually say, yes, this is when it happened. It's only God that can actually explain that. And for this, just like humans add in their body size, nobody can tell this is when it happened. But you can realize that you've added when you wear clothes that you usually wear and you notice some, right? So same thing applies. So on that, I would say it is a natural process that I cannot emphatically talk about. On the other points, I would say food is a very strong factor that helps hair growth of babies in the womb. And this is why medical experts will advise pregnant mothers or wives to always feed on fruits, as it will help to boost the growth of the baby or development of the baby while in the womb, and this also includes hair growth. Also, genetic factors. You know, parents who are bald, it is difficult to give birth to babies who will be hairy, who have hairs on their head. But parents who are hairy, naturally, they will pass such gene to their baby. I've not answered the question, I hope you know. But I'm still educating the. So when you are saying all of this, the examiner is nodding the head. So, in all, it is something that no one can emphatically say, especially even medical doctors and nurses, except embryologists. These are people who can authoritatively say this is how it happened. So, I think these are the things I would hit as my knowledge will serve me to talk about how many things. They won't grow hairs on the head. It's not look at you and go like, you have actually spoken well. So, okay, then another question will come in. But if you begin to say, wow, I really do not have an idea. This is a tough question, actually. I think you are just selling yourself out. Right? So, the part 3 part is actually where you need to get ready for spontaneous questions. So they could be related to what you have spoken about earlier, or they could be related to the occupation you feel that you studied or you carry out. Alright? So this is how the speaking test question and exercise goes. And that's all. Please, do you have any question? Are you done? Come in and tell us how it went.
She's here.
It's not far from me.
You beat me.
No, but
You beat him.
Yes.
Speaking.
Speaking and listening.
Wow.
how was your speaking test?
Come and tell us. Go to the front. Come and tell us now.
Alright, talk to us. You can talk to us. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I'm worried. I'm worried. Please,
Please talk to us.
please talk to us. How was your speaking test?
It was okay. Well, at first I was
Take
scared.
it. Yeah.
The mic is not
But later on, you
fighting.
got comfortable, right?
Yes, when it was time for the test and the examiner was like, she smiled at me. I was like, oh, in my heart, I was like, she's
Oh,
friendly.
yes.
So then it was okay.
What questions were you asked?
Oh, I was asked.
Your name?
Yes.
Passport?
Passports and about my community. They said to tell them about my community, just
Yeah.
like the way you asked. Just almost the same question you asked.
Okay.
Like, what you do, you work or you school,
Mhm.
do you like your job?
Mhm.
And
Then the listening, how was it? It was clear, right?
it was clear, but oh god.
But
Yes,
were you giving something to jot down?
yes.
Alright, you I told you go and write your exam. You passed, eh? So it's done. Congratulations.
Is that all?
That's all.
Yeah.
Congrats, huh?
Were you the only one?
No, two.
There are two of them.
Yeah, two.
Okay, 2-2.
Yes.
That was the format of the test.
For the speaking.
No, she went for a different type of IELTS exam. It's not the one you go.
I think she said there are only 2 students.
Yes, they come in pairs.
Okay.
Candidate A and candidate B,
Yes.
right?
Why others that are writing? I don't know the kind of exam they're writing. They have just like this kind of
Yeah.
seats.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fine. So congratulations.
Thank you.
It's done and dusted. So expect your
Yeah.
pass.
You want me to baby?
Alright, so thank you so much. This is a speaking test. Gina, please forward the list of speaking test questions to them. Please, you need to begin to practice with those questions. Begin to practice with those questions. And hopefully, some of what we practice here, you may likely be asked. So don't cram any question, don't cram.
So English is my problem. How to compose English is my own problem.
You
How
don't
to
need to
put it.
You don't need to worry about that. The greatest thing you have to win is confidence.
Confidence.
If you are confident, when you get to exam hall, nobody will tell you. Right?
Okay.
So just be confident. Alright, so thank you so much for today. Tomorrow we are starting listening test. Listening test tomorrow. Please can I have my cue card questions?